What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Supergirl Season 5, Episode 7, Tremors. Yeah, Tremors. Um, it's okay. I mean, it wasn't terrible. The whole thing between Alex and Kelly just bores me, because, I mean, I don't know, we've been spending time on this, and then in this one, she's like, I can't stand it, and then at the end, they're just like, but you feel like home, so come here. I'm just like, okay, who cares then? Why spend this whole episode making us feel like Kelly can't do this? It's like she can't handle the fact that Alex could die any day, because that's not changing. And then by the end of it, just say, you know what? Never mind. She can stand it because it's Alex. It's Alex, guys. I've honestly, like, ever since they started focusing on Alex's personal life and her relationships, I just haven't cared because they spend so much time on it, and it bores me. I'm just like, can we get back to the story, please? Because these always seem like they're just side plots that keep distracting from the main plot, and we have to take time to talk this out. We have to take time, even though all of this awful stuff is happening, to focus on. But is Alex gonna get to be with her loved one? Is she gonna get to be with someone? Guys, is she gonna end up alone? Who cares? Who cares? So, yeah, that was frustrating. But aside from that, everything else was okay. Like, we finally get the moment where Lena reveals to Supergirl that she's been using her, and they have that moment. I was really expecting it to be a lot more emotional, and I mean, the acting was fine, but it didn't hit me as much as I thought it was going to. And I think a lot of that is just down to Supergirl pours her heart out, and Lena just sort of goes, no, I can't believe anything you ever say again. Even though I do kind of see Supergirl's point too. And I feel like that's sort of what makes this whole story lose a little bit of its credibility for me. Because I like the idea that Lena, she's not really a villain. She is, but she isn't at the same time. Because what she's doing is actually with good intentions, but she's doing it in the wrong way. And so that does kind of make her a villain in a way. So that story is interesting to me, but the fact that this all stems from Supergirl not telling her secret identity, which on the one hand, I do kind of get it in this world, because in this world, Supergirl plays thick and fast. Is that the right term? Is it thick and fast or quick and fast? I don't remember. But she plays, no, fast and loose. That's right, fast and loose. She plays very, very loosely with her secret identity. I mean, so many people know who she is. So it's kind of like, I do sort of see Lena's point in the fact that so many people know that she's Supergirl. That, yeah, the fact that she didn't tell Lena, it does sort of suck for Lena. But at the same time, I mean, it's not like she was betraying her, really. Like, yeah, she lied to you, but there's kind of a reason. It's not like she tells just anybody. But then again, she does tell a lot of her friends, and so she didn't tell Lena. Lena was the only one that really, in the friend group, didn't know that Kara was Supergirl. So it is kind of like she's the one being left out. So it's like, it sucks, but I don't know if I would qualify it as she betrayed Lena to the point where, oh, Lena, you need to get your revenge on her. It's just kind of petty when you look at it from that point of view. And again, when they compared it to Malefic's whole thing where his brother made their father and himself forget that he even existed, there's no comparison there. The level of betrayal of what Jean did compared to what Kara did, no comparison there. I mean, this sucks. This, it just, I mean, it kind of sucks. I see why you're hurt, but also you going down this path of, oh well, I'm just gonna make it to where nobody ever fights again. I'm gonna control everybody's minds so they don't have any badness in them anymore. That's very far to take this. But aside from that, we do also finally learn about Leviathan in this one, and we learn about Ramachan, and I don't know who his sister, relative, I don't know who this other woman with him is. I'm assuming she's of the same like alien species that he is. feels, I know this came out before Eternals, but this feels very Eternals to me, where it's like, oh, he's been here since the beginning of time. He took out the dinosaurs and all this stuff. And anytime you throw that in, it always just kind of feels like, ooh, he's bad, guys. Ooh, he's super powerful. He's been here forever. And then Supergirl faces him in the Fortress of Solitude and easily kicks his butt with Lena's help a little bit. I'm just like, okay, so this super bad, powerful man who's been here for, several millennia can just easily get beaten as long as he doesn't have any Earth around him. So, okay. Just fly him high up into the air away from the Earth, and boom, he's powerless. Cool. Um, I I don't know. Just because that's his one power is Earth bending. One, it does make me think, okay, you're literally stealing this from Avatar without even really referencing it, which I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to say something about Avatar, but they didn't. So I'm just like, okay, so you're just literally ripping off this term Earthbender, which I don't know. Maybe it was something that was around before Avatar: The Last Airbender came out, but it does just make me think, okay, so he's an Earthbender, so just take him away from the Earth. That's all she really has to do is just, if they team up on him, if Supergirl flies up and sneak attacks, grabs him, takes him away from the Earth, now he's powerless. That's all you have to do. And the fact, too, that he can control Earth, even though he's from another planet, how does that make sense? It's, I don't really get that. Maybe they might have explained it and I just missed it, but it does seem weird that this alien comes from another planet. He comes here and is like, oh, hey, I can control this stuff. So, okay. At least with, like, Supergirl and Superman, they say it's because the atmosphere of Earth is different, giving them more heightened abilities because they've lived on a different, like, in a different atmosphere for so long. So they've, like, gotten these powers because they're built differently. For him, it's just like, okay, so he comes here and he could always control the Earth, but he couldn't do anything on his own planet because there was no Earth there. But how does the Earth differ from his planets, like dirt and stuff? Just when you really think about it, it's kind of dumb. But I mean, I'm interested to see what their plan is. I'm interested to see why they're there. Are they going to have anything to do with the crisis? Because obviously, next episode leads into the crisis. So I don't know if they're going to have anything to do with that or not. They seem, I don't know. They seem more intimidating before I could actually see them. When they were this secret hidden thing that we knew about but we didn't actually know about, I felt more intimidated. Now that I actually see them, I see the old lady working for him who, I don't know why I should be intimidated by her, honestly. But then you see him and you see his, whoever she is, however she's related to him. You see her as well. It's just like, okay, so now I see them and it looks like Jeff Bridges from Iron Man. And she is just sort of sitting there doing nothing. I'm no longer intimidated. I feel just kind of like, oh, okay, so this is who our villains are for this season. One's an Earthbender. One, I don't know what her powers are, or does she open like a portal or something inside the secret hidden base? I don't know. It just, for me, I'm curious, but I'm not really like, ooh, they're super intimidating. I can't wait to see what else is going to happen. I'm just kind of like, okay, now we see them. What are they going to do? What's their plan? Why are they here? They seem to be just sort of sitting around until, oh, well, humans are being awful to the Earth now, so surely it's not been happening for the past, like, decade or so. Like, people have been complaining about us being awful to the Earth for decades. Like, at least the past 20 years. So, why now? It's like, oh, well, now it's just too far because we're needed in the show. So now we're going to do something about it. And then the other thing is Jean finds Malefic. And I mean, it was fine. I did kind of figure this was going to happen eventually. I did find it a little stupid that his dad was just like, oh, yes, he's still here on Earth and tells him all this stuff. But instead of telling him who's keeping him prisoner, he's just like, no, you have to find that out for yourself. I don't want to spoil the surprise because we're about to find out in this episode who it is, and Supergirl's going to tell you. And that's how it's going to happen. But I don't want to be the one to ruin it. I don't want to be the one to say anything about it. Just, why? It's kind of dumb. But then they connect at the end. He's still in there with Malefic, so I don't know if I don't know one how he got in there, but two how they're gonna get out now. It just does seem a little weird. They just sort of popped in there and then it ends with both of them embracing, but they're still inside that cell. So are they both now trapped? I don't know. And of course, Lena's probably going to show up at some point. Um, then the other thing I forgot to talk about, just very random, but can we call that the worst explosion in any action film, TV show, anything? Like, I know I've seen some fake ones. That one looked real, but so weak. First of all, they're like easily. It looked like they were so far away that even the, concussion radius or whatever it is, the blast from it, even that wouldn't have really done anything. Like, they look so far away, and yet they're. And it was just so cliche too, the way they ran away from it. Like, I've seen this done at least 1,000 times, and here's 1,001. It was a weak explosion. They were so far away, and then somehow Brainy ends up with a cut. Alex just like passes out, even though she has no visible injuries. I'm just like, okay, what is that? And then on top of that, Brainy like repairing whatever damage was done inside of him, which they spent a long time on that. I don't understand why. Like, it took him forever to go, okay. And then he turned back into like his actual form, and then it fixed. And then he's back to himself. I'm like, why did we spend a good 10, 15 seconds just watching him do that? And then Alex falls over. What is going on? This explosion was not that bad. She doesn't even have any cuts or scrapes or bruises or anything. Why is she passing out? And then that somehow, fixing that cut opens up a side of Brainy's mind that he didn't have access to before? What? Did somebody put a restriction on him? Is this going to affect anything? Could you please tell us something? If you're not even going to show, don't tell, then at least tell. You can't do neither and just expect us to go, oh, yes, clearly there was a blockage on his mind, and repairing that cut fixed the blockage, and so now he has access to deeper parts of his not. Okay, how did the blockage get there? Why did fixing just that one cut repair the blockage? Why did a cut on his human skin affect what's beneath that? I don't know. I'm just going to assume it's not going to get explained. But that's it for this one. So it was okay. On to the one right before the crisis. I'm excited for that one because then we'll be getting to the crisis. Let's go. See you there. And now episode 8, The Wrath of Ramachan. So, again, this one was okay. And I guess, considering how frustrated I normally am with Supergirl, the fact that it's just okay is actually pretty good. Because most of the time, I'm really frustrated. I'm sitting there thinking about a ton of things. I'm just smacking my forehead because of how dumb it is. The past couple episodes have been okay. They've had moments that I've enjoyed. They've had moments that I'm just like, okay, that's kind of dumb. And this one I think had some good moments. Some moments where people stepped up. Alex stepping up in the end. Sure, it took her a while, and I felt like it took her maybe a little too long to trust John, even though he would know. He's a Martian, which means he has the ability to sense if his brother is lying or not. And sure, you can make the argument, well, his brother can control people, so how do you know for sure? But I don't know. It seems like if that were the case, then he would have just helped his brother infiltrate, and that would have been that. So I did feel like it took her maybe a little too long to trust Malefic. But it was nice to see Malefic get his chance to shine, and then in the end he gets a chance to go back and help the Martians out against the White Martians. So I thought that was really nice, and the fact that apparently this somehow led to basically Jean being ready for the crisis, kind of interesting. Honestly, I'd forgotten that Marnovu had brought Jean's brother in from last season. I remember now that that's how John's brother got there. But up until he said that and he was like, you passed the test, I'm like, oh yeah, you're the one that brought him here, didn't you? Forgot about that. But yeah, I thought, his brother's story, it's fairly interesting. Getting to see exactly what happened on Mars and see what Jean did and see them finally being able to overcome that. I liked that storyline. It was good. It was well paced, I thought. They didn't rush too much. His powers were a little weird at times, but for the most part, it was well done. Everything to do with Lena in this one, she's planning to release Myriad on the Earth, which I want to be perfectly honest, I've forgotten what it even does. um, I don't even remember. Was it her aunt and the other guy that were planning to use it? Like I don't remember what that storyline was. I Myriad sounds familiar, so I remember the name, but I just do not remember anything about it. But yeah, I mean, she has this plan to release it on the Earth. They stop her using Malefic. It's pretty interesting, seeing her connection with Hope as well. It's kind of a weird feeling because on the one hand, she does have this connection with Hope that she feels like Hope is her friend, but in reality, this is not really a human. This is now Eve's body being controlled by essentially an AI that she created. So this AI can't betray her, which is why she fully trusts it. And it's what she basically wants everybody to become for her, is basically people that she can fully rely on because they have to follow her every order. Um, so it's been kind of an interesting friendship to watch grow. But again, we do see part of my problem with this whole story where I think she may have said this in the last episode and I forgot to bring it up, but she mentions it again in this one. She's like, "Yeah, you're treating me like the villain." And this is where, again, I do feel kind of like she's taking it a little too far because Supergirl never treated her like a villain. Just because she hid her secret identity from you does not mean that she didn't think you were a good guy. She was still your friend. She still trusted you with so much else. This was just one thing that she felt like she didn't want to give to you yet because it's something that she does get play a little bit loose with, but it's something that she still sees it could be a danger to somebody finding out. Um, so most of the time, whenever she tells somebody or whenever they find out, it's it's most of the time they figure out through some other means. And honestly, the last time she told somebody, I think, was probably Al. No, not Alex. Alex knew from early on. Did she tell? I think Wynn might have been the last person she told, possibly. I don't know. But typically, she doesn't tell people, like Alex said in this one, to keep her safe because it's information that now Lena would possess that somebody could come after her for. So there is that hint of she was doing it for a good reason. But again, Lena taking it in a weird direction and like, oh, you didn't tell me because you thought I was a villain. You're treating me like a villain. There's none of that. There's no hint of that. So the fact that she's taking it that way, for me, is a little dumb. So the fact that they're focusing on it so much, every time that gets brought up, I'm just kind of like, okay, that's not what happened. So can we stop talking about it like that is what happened? But seeing Lena's plan to get out of it, I do wonder what's going to happen with Hope now that she's been arrested by the FBI. I don't know. It seems like that's a very useful ally that Lena just sort of sacrificed to keep herself out of the FBI's clutches. So I don't know what's going to happen with Hope, if she's going to break her out of jail or something along those lines. But apparently she's going to be important in the crisis as well because we see, I remembered something about Lex being, like his body being looked over by the Monitor. I couldn't remember though what exactly happened, but apparently he's been keeping him in this space. I don't know how, I don't know what it is, but he says he needs him for the crisis, and that he's going to save the Earth. So again, I don't really know what to think of Mar-Novu. Is he a good guy? Is he trying to save the Earth? Is he going to cause the destruction of it? With Lex in tow, it makes me lean towards he's going to be responsible for the destruction of the Earth. But at the same time, it could be something where, I mean, Lex technically could help when it comes to saving the Earth because he is very intelligent. And the only reason he's been a villain is because he sees people like Superman as a threat. And of course, Superman's a good guy. So it's kind of a weird thing where if the Earth is in danger and people are in danger, he could technically change his loyalties to say, okay, still don't like you, but if we have to work together to stop this other major crisis, sure, we can partner up for this. And on top of that, I'm just going to enjoy seeing Lex again because he was probably the best thing in this show so far. He and Manchester Black, both of them, really made me enjoy the last season. It was the only season I enjoyed because of that, so I would love to have him back. And maybe he'll come back for good. Maybe we'll see him every now and then. I don't know. But what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, of course, Leviathan in this. We see more about Ramachan. And, again, I feel like I should be intimidated, but I'm not. I feel... I don't know how to describe it, but I'm just sort of watching these scenes and I don't really have any sort of connection to it. We see Andrea turns against him at the end, which is good for her character. And, I didn't feel anything for it, but it was a nice scene for her getting to sort of have the moment of, finally I stopped them. I'm just sorry it was too late, talking about Russell. I think it was Russell. God, names just fly out of my head so quickly. But it was a good moment for her to step up and say, no, I'm not going to let you control me anymore. And so it was nice to see her get that moment. But his whole plan of just like, oh yes, I'm going to create this super volcano so that way I can wipe out humanity. It just feels weird. Like, he's going to get rid of all these humans because they're a plague, but then he also lets them exist, but he says their existence is sin. So what is his motivation? I don't know. It feels like spur of the moment. He's just like, you know what? Fine, I'm done with this. I'm just going to kill everyone. Why? It seems like, they talked about the balance, I think, last season. They talked about how Lex was supposed to bring balance. So maybe there's supposed to be a limited number of humans on the Earth for them to exist or something. I don't really know what their deal is. Why are they there on Earth in the first place? And if they want to control Earth, then why are they just sort of hiding out underground where nobody can find them? And why have they been just sitting around doing nothing for years now? Apparently just popping up and wiping out large groups of people, like the Pompeii volcano that they brought up. Why are you doing this? We have no sort of clue, and maybe they've talked about it and I just missed it, but we don't really have a sense of why exactly they're doing this. Why are they wanting to wipe out only part of humanity, but they also hate humanity, so why not just wipe all of humanity out entirely? It just feels weird at the moment. Their motivations haven't been properly explained, so I feel like I'm sort of watching, just constantly questioning why every single time they're doing something. So until they get to the point where they finally start explaining their motivations and stuff, I'm just going to be sitting here, not really that interested. And again, maybe they'll have something to do with the crisis, possibly. With beings this powerful, you would think that they would somehow be involved in the multiverse and Earth being destroyed, but I don't know. Maybe they'll just sort of sit around and do nothing and wait until the crisis is over before they're finally like, all right, now it's time for us to step in and do our thing. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But aside from that, I'm looking forward to the crisis. We have the same thing that we saw at the end of Batwoman with Nash Wells showing up at whatever this is. I'm curious to see if we're going to get any sort of explanation to what he's talking about when he says, you saved me, whenever I watch the Flash episodes. Because it seems, I don't know, I don't really know what's going on. There's a lot of mystery in that, which is good, but also, again, whenever I'm sitting here and questioning why, it's hard for me to get really connected, because I'm sitting here and going, but that doesn't make any sense with what we've seen so far. So we'll see what happens, but that's it for these two episodes. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these two? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Supergirl reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.